Aye, great tune, You Belong to Me. Now, as you probably saw, I was playing that in the key of A, right? So that's what we're going to talk a wee bit about today. Key of A, scale, the mode, and chords that are relevant to it. So the first thing I do when I think of the key of A, first of all, what's the key signature for the key of A? It's got 3 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. We'll come back to that in a minute. But as usual, I always think when I'm trying to work out how to play these things, what the chord pattern is, and usual, as I say, after playing for a lot of years, you can figure it out, you can guess some of the chords, you can try some of the chord patterns that it should fit in. So the first thing I always think about is my 1, 4, 5. So obviously the 1, 4, 5 in D is, in A, I beg your pardon, is A, the first, D the fourth, and E, the fifth, or it could be a dominant seventh, and back to the A. The 1, 4, 5. Second most common one is a minor second, B minor. Third most common one is a minor 6, in this case C sharp minor. Although sometimes that's a dominant 7th. So I've got those chords in my head anyhow as I start to play the tune. But the other thing I'm really always aware of when I'm playing anything is the scale. Because the scale and the key signature lets me know what notes I can't hit. I've got to hit them what they should be. Say for example, as I say, the key signature for A is 3 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. So if I played a G natural in a tune like that, you know what I mean, it turns into a blues tune, which is not what we're playing. So I know it's a G sharp anytime I'm going to be hitting that note. Now, usually when we practice scales, as a guitarist we use patterns and we get very familiar with the pattern, but sometimes we lose touch with what the actual scale is. Say for example, let's play an ordinary scale of A in 5th position. So we do that all the time. B flat's just up a semitone, A flat's just down a semitone, but sometimes we don't think about what actually is happening in the scale. Now, without getting too technical and boring you all, it's still a handy thing to know. As I say, so the Western scale is basically do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? So we know that. And basically what you're doing and why we have key signatures, it's what you have to do to those series of notes to bring it into the Western scale. So say for example, as you know, in music we'll only go up alphabetically, we'll only go up as far as the letter G, then we'll go back to A again. So if we were doing a scale of A, and we just played the notes as they were, like say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, that doesn't sound right because the intervals are all wrong for what we need to create a Western scale. So to bring it in, we have to use the 3 sharps, so it's A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. And sometimes it's good just to play your scales straight up here in 1st position, because you can actually see what's involved when you're playing that scale. So if you're taking a wee solo, or if you're improvising, or if you're composing, or if you're doing anything on the guitar, you know, unless you're really looking for a dramatic effect, to stay within that key signature and hit those notes in the scale at the correct interval. And sometimes when we play these patterns, you know, sometimes we don't actually think about the notes that we're playing. So as I say, it's a good idea that every now and again just play your ordinary scales, but actually think about what you're doing, you know, using the intervals that are there. But as you saw earlier on, when I was first trying to do this, I just played all the notes from A to A. Let me do that again. So that's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. But what that actually is a mode. A mode is basically the notes from all the top of the scale to the bottom of the scale without sharps or flats, just those straight modes. So say for example, what we played there from A to A without any sharps or flats or adjusting for anything was a mode. It's actually called the Aeolian mode, right? So let me do it again, and that's all I'm playing is all the notes from A to A. This thing's driving me nuts. From A to A, so it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Now you can play these in patterns, but again I'm asking you to play them up here just now so you can actually see what's happening. That's all I did. All the notes from A to A, and that's called the Aeolian mode. But if you noticed when you were playing the mode, that how it differed from the actual scale that we're using. So we'll start very slowly. A, that's the same. B, that's the same. C, no, we played a C sharp, so that's a flattened third. So it's A, B, flattened third. D, E, that's a flattened sixth. And then we played a G sharp, that's a flattened seventh. So we know in an Aeolian mode, there's a flat third, flat sixth, flat seventh, right? So it's not the sort of thing you're going to memorise all the time, but it's a handy thing to know if you're ever asked to play a Aeolian mode. So if I asked you 10 minutes ago, play an Aeolian mode for me, you wouldn't have known how to do it. But when I explained it to you, it's just all the notes from A to A, then it becomes a lot more achievable. And basically what we'll do is, I'll do it another time, but you learn how to play the pattern on the guitar, because where it gets a wee bit involved is sometimes you might arrive at a jam session with other musicians and they'll say, right, I've written a tune, and you think, that's fine, and I'm looking for a guitarist. Oh, great stuff. So see this chord sequence over here, Andy, I want you to play an Aeolian mode. No bother, just showed you how you did it. But I want you to play the Aeolian mode over a B flat chord, and that's when your head starts to buzz. Well, how do I do that? Well, you just remember the intervals, flat and third, flat and sixth, flat and seventh. And once you learn the pattern, you can move it up and down. And these are illustrations, I've done it before, but I'll just say it again, is all the notes from G to G, the G mode called the Mixolydian, because it's quite easy to remember. All it has is a flattened seventh. So like instead of going G, A, B, C, D, E, playing an F sharp there, I beg your pardon, you flatten it and it becomes an F natural. So yeah, instead of having this pattern for a scale, all you have to remember is to flatten the seventh. And it's actually a good mode to play over the tonic chord. So say if you're playing and doing something in C, you can play the G Mixolydian over it. Another cool thing is once you memorise that pattern, again if somebody said to you, I want you to play A flat Mixolydian mode, so all you do is play it in A flat in fourth position. So it's really just basically memorising all these modes. The modes, by the way, they're all named after ancient Greek tribes, you know, the Lydian, the Phrygians, the Mixolydians, and so on and so forth. But that's all they are. Say, for example, D Dorian, which is a very common one that's used. It's just all the notes for D to D. You could play a D Dorian scale right now. All you do is play D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. And again, then you learn it in patterns. So that's all for now, guys. It's just the key of A, and sort of understanding what's going on. And it's just mainly how I brought it up. It's mainly because sometimes we play in these patterns all the time, and yet we don't think the actual notes that we're playing. Like A flat, scaling A flat's easy because we can play G, so it's just up one. So instead it's G, so A flat's just up one more. But the key of A flat, what are you actually doing? Well, there's 4 flats in A flat, F, B, E, A. So you really have to think what you're actually doing on these things, and sometimes playing them in chord positions, you tend to lose it. So it's just a wee tip. Every now and again, just play your scales in first position so you know exactly what's going on. So anyhow, that's a lecture over. So anyhow, I hope you enjoyed that. By the way, when I played You Belong to Me, I did my usual trick playing in intervals, sixes, and then I changed to thirds, which is a handy thing to do. It just makes the melody a wee bit more And right hand wise, again, all I was doing, my thumb was playing the bass and my three fingers were playing the trebles. It's just a thing to do every now and again. Anyway, I hope that was some help for you guys, and I hope to see you later on. So bye for now.